You thought the Frost family had weathered every storm, but baby, this is a Category 5 scandal that just ripped the roof off Love and Hip Hop. Atlanta. Kirk Frost, the longtime husband of Rashida and the so-called reformed playboy, just got hit with a bombshell revelation that has fans reeling, Rashida fuming, and the entire Frost legacy dangling by a thread. In a twist nobody saw coming, not even the messiest of reality TV sleuths, a secret baby mama has stepped out of the shadows. And she's not alone. She's bringing receipts, rage, and a child that looks a little too familiar to be a coincidence. That's right, Kirk Frost has allegedly been living a double life, one Rashida never signed up for. And now, the truth is clawing its way out. It started with whispers online, anonymous tips, cryptic social media posts, and a DM or two that Rashida reportedly brushed off as just haters doing what haters do. But then came the photos. Then the voice notes. Then the viral TikTok from a woman claiming she had Kirk's real attention while Rashida played wife on TV. The drama didn't just simmer, it exploded. And when Kirk was finally confronted, insiders say he didn't deny it, he froze. And Rashida? She reportedly left the set in tears, throwing off her mic and yelling, "I knew something wasn't right." Now, the internet is ablaze with speculation. Is the woman telling the truth? Is the baby really Kirk's? And if so, how long has this lie been festering beneath the Frost family brand? What will this mean for Rashida's empire, their kids, and the carefully curated image of redemption Kirk's worked so hard to rebuild? We've got exclusive details, insider tea, and dramatic reenactments of the betrayal that's tearing this household apart, and trust us, it's worse than anyone imagined. Buckle up, because the secrets Kirk tried to bury are finally crawling into the spotlight. And this family may never recover. This is the story of betrayal, hidden children, and the kind of love that's tested by lies. This is the moment Kirk Frost's double life is exposed, and you won't believe who knew all along. It all started on a humid Wednesday afternoon in Atlanta when Rashida received a text that would flip her entire world upside down. The message came from an unknown number, but it didn't read like spam. It was short, sharp, and cutting. "You should ask your husband who he's been with every Thursday night when he says he's at the studio." At first, she rolled her eyes. Over the years, countless rumors had followed Kirk like a shadow, some true, many false. But something about this one lingered, the specificity, the tone, the nerve. Rashida stared at the screen longer than she'd like to admit, that familiar unease creeping up her spine. She didn't respond, but the seed had been planted, and within days, that seed would grow into a full-blown scandal threatening to choke everything she and Kirk had rebuilt. By Friday, whispers were circling behind the scenes of Love and Hip Hop. A production assistant leaked a cryptic story to a gossip blog allegedly. A woman had approached the show's producers claiming she had a child with one of the male cast members and wanted her side of the story heard. Though no name was mentioned publicly, insiders say producers immediately knew it was Kirk. When confronted by showrunner Lana during a casual meeting, Kirk laughed it off. "Man, people always trying to get a check," he said, waving his hand like he was swatting away a mosquito. But Lana wasn't convinced. "This ain't like the Jasmine drama," she warned. "This girl has receipts. You better handle it before it handles you." Meanwhile, Rashida couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. She started paying attention to Kirk's schedule more closely. The man who once couldn't go to ours without texting her had become quiet, too quiet. Late nights, studio sessions that conveniently overlapped with her events, missed calls that turned into "my phone died" excuses. She began checking his location and noticed a pattern, a stop in a quiet neighborhood off Bankhead Highway every Thursday. It wasn't near any studio. They owned. The following week, Rashida told her close friend Candy about the strange message and what she'd uncovered. Candy didn't hesitate. "Girl, you want me to pull up?" she offered, already grabbing her keys. "Because this ain't adding up. If that man out here sneaking again, you don't need to catch feelings, you need to catch evidence." Reluctantly, Rashida agreed. That night, the two women followed Kirk's car from the Frost Bistro parking lot to a modest, gated townhouse complex in the West End. He parked, sat in the car for a minute like he was building courage, then got out, holding a small pink gift bag. The color wasn't lost on Rashida. Heart thumping in her chest, she watched him walk up to a door, knock twice, and get pulled inside by a young woman, tall, caramel-skinned, and visibly flustered when she saw him. Candy had her phone out, recording. "Girl, we need to get this all on camera," she whispered. Rashida, frozen in shock, whispered back, I know her. I think I know her face. But it wasn't until the door opened again, 20 minutes later, and Kirk stepped out, this time with a toddler in his arms, that Rashida nearly collapsed. The little girl had dimples, his dimples, and a furrowed brow just like their son Carter. And the moment she reached for Kirk with familiarity, the truth was undeniable. That child wasn't someone else's. That child was his. The next morning, Rashida confronted Kirk. I went by that townhouse last night, she said calmly over breakfast, voice trembling just beneath the surface. Kirk paused, mid-bite. What you talking about? He muttered, avoiding her eyes, but Rashida pressed on. The townhouse. The one off Bankhead. The one with your other daughter inside. The fork dropped from his hand. The color drained from his face. And for the first time in years, Kirk Frost had nothing to say. You lied to me. Again, she whispered, trying not to cry. You promised no more secrets. After Jasmine, after all of it, you promised. And now I find out there's another child, another woman. Kirk stammered, Rashida, it's not what you think, but she cut him off. Then what is it, Kirk? Because I saw the baby. I saw the girl. And I saw the look in your eyes when she called you daddy. Kirk finally spoke, his voice hoarse with guilt. Her name is Miracle. She's 2. It was a one-time thing. Back in 2021. I didn't know she was mine at first. The girl, her name's Lacey, she didn't come forward until last year. I was trying to handle it quietly. Protect you, protect the kids, keep the family together. Rashida's hands slammed against the table. You don't protect a family by lying to it, she shouted, tears now freely falling. You just destroy it from the inside. Later that day, Rashida packed a bag and took the kids to her mother's. Producers were already scrambling to decide whether to include the footage in the upcoming season. Cameras caught her storming out, Kirk shouting her name from the porch. Neighbors peeking through their windows like it was a real-life soap opera. Candy later confirmed to the crew that Rashida was done, at least for now. That man, been playing with her heart like it's a business deal, she said in a confessional. And Rashida ain't no damn pawn. But the story didn't end there, because just as Rashida tried to collect herself, another unexpected twist arrived, this time from Lacey, the so-called secret baby mama. On Sunday evening, she went live on Instagram. With nearly 5,000 viewers watching, she introduced herself. Hi y'all, my name is Lacey Monroe. I didn't mean for any of this to go down this way. But yes, Kirk Frost is the father of my daughter Miracle. And no, this wasn't a one-time mistake. This was a whole relationship. Rashida watched the live from her hotel room in stunned silence. Lacey claimed she met Kirk at an industry event, that they'd been talking on and off for months, and that he had promised to leave Rashida more than once. He told me their marriage was basically for show, Lacey said, her voice cracking. He made me feel like I was next. Like I mattered. And then, once I got pregnant, he flipped. Said it would ruin everything if the truth got out. She wiped tears from her eyes. Well, I guess it's out now. And with that, the foundation of Rashida and Kirk's entire public image began to crumble. Fans were furious. Twitter exploded, memes flooded Instagram. Not Kirk playing daddy daycare on the low. One user wrote, Rashida should have left the first time, another commented. This man got more plot twists than a Tyler Perry movie. But the biggest bombshell of all hadn't dropped yet, and when it did, it would tear the Frost empire apart like never before. Rashida sat in silence as the Instagram live replayed over and over in her mind. Lacey's words weren't just accusations. They were confessions, declarations, cold truths that hit harder than any punch. A whole relationship. Promises to leave. Lies layered on top of lies. She felt like she was sinking, caught between public humiliation and private heartbreak. The betrayal wasn't just physical, it was emotional, psychological, and dangerously calculated. And just when she thought she'd hit rock bottom, her phone lit up again. This time, it wasn't an anonymous text. It was from an old friend in the industry. One word, one photo, proof. The picture showed Kirk and Lacey in what appeared to be a romantic getaway, arms around each other. Kirk smiling like he didn't have a care in the world. The date, December 2022. The same weekend he told Rashida he was in New York handling business. The walls were officially closing. In Rashida called Candy, her voice barely above a whisper. I can't believe I let this happen again, she murmured. Candy, Always the ride or die, responded without hesitation. You didn't let anything happen. Girl, that man played you. But now, it's time to stop crying and start planning. You built an empire. Don't let him take it down with his lies. Inspired by her friend's strength, Rashida dried her tears. The betrayal burned, but so did her resolve. She scheduled a sit-down with production. If Kirk's mess was going to come to light, she would control the narrative. No more hiding. No more saving face. The truth was hers now, and she was going to own it. Meanwhile, Kirk was unraveling. Word had spread like wildfire. Fans flooded his DMs with scathing messages. You just embarrassed your whole family for the second time. What happened to growth, Kirk? This ain't it, bruh. Even his oldest son Kai was reportedly furious. A source close to the family revealed that Kai confronted Kirk directly. You said you changed. He snapped. You swore you'd never put mom through this again. And now we got another sister out there we didn't even know about. Kirk tried to explain, but Kai wasn't having it. You're a coward, he spat before storming out. The once tight-knit Frost clan was cracking, and the fractures were deepening by the hour. In a last-ditch effort to do damage control, Kirk reached out to Lacey privately. What he didn't know was that Lacey was already recording. You need to stop talking to the blogs, he whispered over the phone. You're making this worse. But Lacey had had enough. Worse for who? Kirk. For you. You weren't worried about worse when you were sneaking around behind your wife's back, playing house with me and Miracle. She paused. Don't forget, I have screenshots, texts, photos, receipts. I kept it quiet for your sake, but now, you threw me under the bus. You can handle what's coming. And she meant it. Hours later, a blog known for exposing celebrity dirt dropped an exclusive file dump photos, DMs, timestamps. It was undeniable. Kirk hadn't just been lying, he'd been actively maintaining a second life. Here's a pic of Kirk at Miracle's first birthday party. The caption read, Rashida was on tour that weekend. Social media went into full meltdown. Fans started tagging Rashida en masse. We're with you, Queen. Divorce that man with style. You built you. He's just a footnote. But it wasn't just fans weighing in. Other cast members started breaking their silence. Bambi posted a cryptic Instagram story with the words, patterns don't lie. People do. Sierra added fuel to the fire, commenting under the Shade Room's post, it's always the ones who claim they changed. Even Mama D chimed in with her signature drama, saying on live, I told y'all years ago that Frostboy had too many secrets. These men think they can juggle families like it's a game of spades. And yet, the most chilling moment came when Rashida sat down for a one-on-one interview with the show's producers. No makeup, no glam, just raw pain and clarity. I gave that man over 2 decades of my life, she said, voice steady, but eyes red. I built businesses with him, had children with him, covered for his mess in front of cameras. And for what? So he could keep lying to my face while pretending to be a changed man. She shook her head. I stayed after Jasmine. That almost broke me. But this right here. This is a different kind of disrespect. He didn't just betray me. He betrayed our sons, our legacy, our truth. The interviewer asked, is there any chance of reconciliation? Rashida's lips curled slightly, not quite a smile. Right now, I'm not thinking about forgiveness. I'm thinking about healing, about reclaiming my name without his shadow attached to it. Back at the Frost household, Kirk was spiraling. Friends stopped answering his calls. Brand deals pulled out. One of the clubs he co-invested in canceled an upcoming hosting gig. His publicist issued a bland statement. Mr. Frost requests privacy during this personal family matter, but the damage was done. The streets weren't quiet. The fans weren't buying it, and his silence only added to the chaos. Then, just when it seemed the storm couldn't get any more intense, Lacey dropped the final bombshell in an interview with a rising podcast called Sip and Spill, ATL. With tears in her eyes and Miracle in her lap, she looked straight into the camera. I didn't come into this to ruin a marriage, she said. But Miracle deserves to know her father, and not as some secret tucked away in shame. I want her to grow up knowing the truth. And if Kirk can't give her that, then at least, the world will know what kind of man he really is. The interview went viral within hours. Rashida's supporters rallied behind her harder than ever, and Kirk, he went silent. No posts, no comments. Just a single story posted a day later, a black screen with the words, I messed up, but it wasn't over yet, because Rashida had one more move left to make. And this time, it would leave the entire Frost narrative flipped upside down for good. Rashida wasn't going to let heartbreak have the last word. After 2 decades of building her brand beside a man who couldn't keep his vows, she decided it was time to reclaim her identity on her own terms. While Kirk sulked in silence, Rashida went into business mode. First, she met with her legal team. Rumors began circulating that she'd quietly frozen their joint accounts and moved assets under her personal LLCs. Insiders whispered that she was preparing for a clean financial break, and if true, it meant Kirk was about to lose more than just his family. It meant losing control, losing power, and losing access to everything she built while he played games behind her back. A few days later, Rashida shocked everyone by returning to the Frost Bistro, but this time, without her wedding ring. Cameras captured her walking in, chin high, wearing all white like a woman who had just attended the funeral of a lie. Staff stood still. Patrons clapped. Someone whispered, "That's a queen." She made her way to the mic and addressed the crowd. "This spot was built on love and loyalty," she said. "But as of today, I'm stepping back from anything that doesn't serve me, spiritually, emotionally, or financially. You'll still see me around. Just not with dead weight beside me." The room erupted. Social media caught fire again. Rashida just turned pain into power. One fan tweeted, "This is how you leave a cheater. In heels. In silence. With grace." But the story was far from finished because just when things seemed to settle, another woman came forward. This time, it wasn't just whispers. It was a full-on interview with Tattletee, one of the messiest but most watched gossip pages in Atlanta. The woman, who identified herself only as Trina B., claimed that not only had she also been involved with Kirk, but she was still seeing him as recently as last month. "He told me Rashida knew about everything and they had an open marriage," she said with a smirk. "He said they just put on a front for TV." Fans were stunned. Was Kirk really running multiple affairs at the same time? Was Rashida still being played, even while she thought she was stepping away? But what really sent the fandom into a frenzy was what Trina said next. "He told me the baby with Lacey wasn't even his, said he just claimed it to keep the peace. But trust me, if I took a test right now, that man's DNA is in my child too." By this point, producers of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta couldn't ignore the ratings gold. They decided to do something they'd never done before. An unfiltered sit-down reunion, mid-season, no edits. No bleeped-out words. Just raw confrontation. Rashida, Kirk, Lacey, and Trina B., all in the same room. The tension was nuclear. Rashida walked in first, poised, dressed in all black this time, like she was mourning the version of herself who used to defend Kirk no matter what. Kirk sat across from her, visibly anxious. Lacey entered next, holding Miracle in her arms. And finally, Trina B. strutted in like she owned the room. The host, Mona Scott-Young herself, wasted no time. "We're here because fans and the family deserve answers." The questions began. Rashida looked Kirk dead in the eyes. Was Trina lying? He paused. "No," he said quietly. "I did see her. A few times, but I didn't know about the baby." "Not for sure." Rashida laughed, bitter and cold. "So you're telling me there might be 2 more kids outside our marriage now?" Kirk nodded slowly. "It's possible." Lacey was next. "Why pretend to care about Miracle if you're still creeping with other women?" she asked. Kirk shook his head. "I'm not proud of anything. I just didn't know how to face what I'd done," but Trina wasn't having it. "He loved the double life," she snapped. "Don't let him fool you. He had one phone for business, one for Lacey, one for me. He even told me which days you were out of town so I could come over." The room exploded. Rashida slammed her fist on the table. "You had people in my house," she screamed. "My home, Kirk. Around my kids." Kirk looked defeated. "I messed up," he mumbled. "I never meant for this to go that far." But Rashida stood up. "You didn't just mess up, Kirk. You built an entire second life with multiple women, kids, and lies. You're not sorry. You're sorry you got caught." Lacey nodded in agreement. Even Trina looked slightly shaken now. "I thought I was the only one," she whispered. And then came the final twist. Mona pulled out a manila folder. "We got DNA results," she announced. "For Miracle and Trina's baby." The room went silent. Kirk's eyes widened. Rashida leaned forward, arms crossed. Mona opened the folder slowly. "For Miracle Frost. Kirk is the father." No surprise there. But then, for Trina's son. Kirk is also the biological father. Kirk leaned back in his seat, Speechless. Rashida didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just stood up, took a deep breath, and walked out. And this time, she didn't look back. The fallout was immediate. Kirk was now confirmed to have fathered 2 children during his marriage, lied to multiple women, and jeopardized his entire legacy. Fans declared him the Tristan Thompson of the South. Rashida, meanwhile, was being hailed as a survivor, a boss, and a queen who handled betrayal like royalty. But what she did next would set the tone for the rest of the season, and her life. A week after the explosive reunion, Rashida broke her silence in a way no one expected, not with a crying Liv. Not with a messy post, but with a bold move. That sent a clear message. She was done playing the fool. Without warning, she deleted every single photo of Kirk from her Instagram, not one throwback, not one family memory left. Just gone. Replaced with sleek, solo shots of her looking like a woman reborn. The captions, ice cold. One read, rebuilding from the ashes. I don't want an apology. I want accountability. Another simply said, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. The comments exploded. Fans, friends, even celebrities jumped in. Tamar Braxton commented, "Yas, queen." While Monica added, "You didn't lose him, you found you." But Rashida wasn't done. She took it a step further and launched a new campaign for her makeup line, Poised by Rashida, with the theme Unbreakable. The promo video featured her walking through a burned-down house in a stunning gown, stepping over ashes, only to sit on a throne made of mirrors. The voiceover, her own voice saying, "You can't burn a woman who already walked through fire." The campaign went viral within hours. Sales tripled overnight, and just like that, Rashida turned personal heartbreak into a public rebirth, making money, making headlines, and making it clear, she didn't need Kirk Frost to stand tall. Meanwhile, Kirk was crumbling. Paparazzi caught him walking alone into a downtown lawyer's office, the same firm known for handling celebrity divorces. Sources whispered he was trying to get ahead of the financial bloodbath that was coming, but the damage was already done. Sponsors began pulling out of deals. His role on Love and Hip Hop was reportedly being reduced for next season. Even within his own family, support had dried up. His daughter Kelsey, who'd always had her father's back, posted a now-deleted story that read, "You can't keep disrespecting the women who held you down and expect the world not to turn on you." And the women he betrayed, they were bonding publicly. In a surprise twist, Rashida posted a selfie with Lacey. No caption, just 2 strong women side by side, one with the child, the other with the wounds. Fans were shook. Did Rashida just team up with the baby mama? One user asked. Another wrote, "This is the ultimate plot twist, women uniting instead of fighting over trash men." Lacey later confirmed in an interview that Rashida reached out privately to make peace. "She didn't blame me," Lacey said. "She just said, our daughters are sisters now. We don't have to be enemies." That's real grown woman stuff. But even with the dust starting to settle, Kirk wasn't ready to take full accountability. In a poorly received radio interview, he claimed the pressure of fame and the coldness in his marriage pushed him to seek connection elsewhere. "I was trying to fill a void," he said. "I didn't handle it the right way, but I'm human." The backlash was immediate. Rashida responded in the classiest, most cutting way possible. A tweet that read, "And when a boy plays with matches, he blames the fire for burning the house down." Despite the drama, Rashida kept winning. Her boutique expanded. She inked a 6-figure book deal to write about relationships, survival, and entrepreneurship. Titled Love, Loyalty, and Letting Go, the memoir promised to spill truths with grace and grit. Pre-orders skyrocketed. Fans weren't just invested in her pain, they were inspired by her resilience. And then, just when everyone thought the saga had hit its final chapter, another voice entered the chat, Jasmine, Kirk's original baby mama. For years, she had stayed relatively quiet, choosing to raise her son with limited involvement. But now, she couldn't hold back. "It's sad it took 2 more kids for people to believe what I said years ago," she wrote on her IG. "But maybe now, Rashida and I can finally talk. Not woman to mother, but mother to mother." That post set social media on fire again. Fans started campaigning for all 3 women, Rashida, Lacey, and Jasmine, to sit down together in a televised special. "Turn the pain into power." One tweet read, "Give us the conversation they never wanted us to have." Even Mona Scott Young hinted that a follow-up special was in the works. But it wasn't about the show anymore. It was about healing. And behind the scenes, Kirk was left alone to pick up the shattered pieces. Reports surfaced that he'd been served with separation papers. The Frost Empire was dissolving, not with a bang, but with a slow, painful unraveling. He built a house of lies, one source close to the production crew said. And Rashida just walked out the front door with the keys. In the final blow to his public image, Kirk was allegedly turned away from an exclusive industry event he used to headline. "This ain't your scene anymore," the bouncer reportedly told him. Atlanta rides with Rashida now. And just like that, the man who once called himself the king of Atlanta's reality TV scene found himself dethroned, not by scandal alone, but by the strength of the woman who refused to stay silent. The fallout from Kirk's double life wasn't just limited to reality TV headlines or messy Instagram lives. It began to bleed into every corner of Atlanta's entertainment world. Producers of Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta knew they had struck narrative gold, but they also understood that what they were watching unfold wasn't just another scandal. It was the full public reckoning of a man who built his reputation on image and manipulation, and the spiritual awakening of a woman who once believed love meant endurance. But now, Rashida wasn't enduring anything, she was erasing it, piece by piece, and letting the world watch her do it in real time. By now, Rashida had become more than a cast member, she was a movement. Her DMs overflowed with messages from women across the globe. "You gave me the courage to leave my own toxic situation. I've been Rashida for 10 years. Watching you take your power back helped me take mine." She wasn't just surviving a public humiliation, she was transforming it into purpose. And that purpose was about to get a platform even bigger than reality TV. Just 3 months after the reunion, she announced a docuseries Wife, Mother, CEO, Survivor, a 6-part journey into her life, beyond the cameras, beyond the betrayal. The trailer alone got millions of views in hours. Fans watched her visit therapists, confront old childhood wounds, and even meet with other women who'd survived infidelity while in the public eye. Her voiceover declared, "Sometimes, the worst thing that happens to you is the beginning of your real story." And while Rashida rose like a phoenix, Kirk spiraled deeper, with mounting legal bills, paternity payments, and now 3 households to contribute to. Insiders said Kirk was selling off assets including shares in their original boutique and even the Frost Bistro. One of his former business partners spoke anonymously to the press, saying, "He used to walk around like he was untouchable. Now he's just another man who lost everything chasing lies." But Kirk wasn't done making things worse. In a tone-deaf attempt to set the record straight, he went live one night, no publicist, no script, just raw ego. "Y'all act like I'm the only man who made mistakes," he said, visibly tired, beard unkempt, eyes sunken. "I never stopped loving Rashida. I messed up, but I ain't no monster. I took care of those kids. I ain't hiding from nobody." The chat lit up with thousands of comments, but they weren't supportive. "Go back to your second family, Kirk. Rashida carried you. You just carried secrets. You were a husband in name only. That live did more harm than good." Brands immediately distanced themselves. One retailer even pulled his face from an old campaign. The message was clear. Kirk Frost had become toxic PR. Then came the final click. Rashida filed official divorce paperwork. TMZ got the scoop. The document cited irreconcilable betrayal, repeated infidelity, emotional distress, and a pattern of dishonesty that undermined the foundation of the marriage. Attached were full custody requests for their shared minor children, and a request to maintain full control over her personal and business assets. In short, she wasn't just walking away, she was locking the doors behind her. When asked by a reporter outside the courthouse how she felt, Rashida simply said, "Liberated." Fans threw virtual confetti. Blogs celebrated her like a hero. But most surprisingly of all, Jasmine and Lacey both posted supportive messages. Jasmine wrote, "She did what I didn't have the strength to do back then. Proud of her." And Lacey said, "Sometimes it takes all of us getting burned to finally blow out the flame." Peace to you, Rashida. The sisterhood that emerged from Kirk's ashes was something even the show's producers couldn't have scripted. Rashida later announced a summit for women entrepreneurs, titled Built from Breakdowns, set to feature panels, masterclasses, and real conversations about love, business, betrayal, and legacy. The event sold out in 48 hours. Among the speakers, Lacey, Jasmine, and Rashida's mother, who had famously told her years ago on the show, "A man can't respect you if you keep making excuses for him." That moment came full circle. But perhaps the most poetic twist of all came during the season finale of Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta. In a scene dripping with symbolism, Rashida visited her old home, the one she'd once shared with Kirk, now empty. As she walked through the rooms, flashes of memories appeared on screen. Her wedding, the birth of Carter, the tears from Jasmine's reveal, the fights, the breakdowns, the makeup kisses that never really healed the wounds. And then, in one final act of closure, she walked into the master bedroom, took off her mic pack, laid it on the bed, and walked out. The screen faded to black. No music, no words, just silence. The message was crystal clear. She's done. And Kirk. He watched it all from the condo he was now renting on the outskirts of the city. Alone, broke and surrounded by echoes of his own downfall. The man who once thought he could have it all, the wife, the family, the side pieces, the image, lost everything. Not in one moment, but in the slow, steady unraveling of a lie too big to hold. And Rashida. She didn't just survive the scandal, she became the story. And just when everyone thought the book was closed and the last chapter had been written, Rashida surprised the world one final time, not with another exposé or tearful interview, but with peace. Real, unshakable peace. Months after the divorce filing and the end of Kirk's public implosion, Rashida emerged with something no scandal could touch: her dignity. At a major women's conference in Atlanta, she took the stage wearing an emerald green power suit and delivered the keynote speech titled From Pain to Power, Rebuilding After Betrayal. She didn't name names. She didn't throw shade. Instead, she told her story with grace, rawness, and honesty, and left every woman in that room on their feet, in tears. "I used to think strength meant staying," she said to a room of thousands. "Now I know strength means knowing when to walk away. I forgave myself for staying too long, and I forgave myself for believing the lies. But most importantly, I forgave me for not protecting my heart sooner, because now, my heart is mine again." The applause lasted minutes. The video of her speech went viral in less than an hour. News outlets picked it up. Rashida's redemption arc is the blueprint, read one headline. From cheated wife to empire queen, read another. Back in Kirk's world, the silence was deafening. He had become a cautionary tale in the industry, the man who destroyed his kingdom with his own hands. Brands wouldn't touch him. Shows wouldn't cast him. Even old friends distanced themselves quietly, unwilling to be associated with his sinking ship. The Frost Bistro, once a proud symbol of their hustle, was eventually sold off. Rumor has it that Rashida was offered a chance to buy it back at auction. She declined. "Some buildings carry too many ghosts," she said in a podcast interview. Later, but the biggest twist of all, Rashida found love again. Not in a public, flashy, Instagram-approved kind of way, but slowly, privately, intentionally. A man from outside the industry. Someone she'd known for years but never seen that way. It started with a friendship, quiet conversations, gentle trust, and eventually, something real. She didn't post him. She didn't parade him. She protected this peace the way she used to protect her marriage. "I learned the hard way that some things are stronger in silence," she said. Meanwhile, Kirk was last seen trying to start a podcast. Real Talk with Kirk Frost. It had less than 500 views per episode. Most of the comments were fans, asking where Rashida was. The man who once lived for the spotlight had been reduced to background noise in a story that was no longer his to control. The Frost children. Thriving. Carter was excelling in school, Rashida's older sons had stepped up as young men, and Rashida made sure each child, including Miracle, was given love, protection, and truth. She made it clear, these kids didn't ask for this mess. But I'll make sure they rise from it. And the women Kirk betrayed all moved forward. Jasmine opened a successful spa business in Decatur. Lacey started a non-profit for single mothers called the Miracle Foundation, inspired by her daughter. Trina B., after the drama settled, went quiet, reportedly returning to her hometown to focus on family. In the end, what started as one man's secret life turned into a powerful story of sisterhood, growth, and grace. Kirk lost everything he thought he controlled: his marriage, his brand, his dignity, and Rashida found everything she thought she'd lost herself. The cameras may have stopped rolling, but this wasn't just another season of Love and Hip Hop. This was a cautionary tale. A love letter to every woman who's ever been lied to, and a masterclass in how to rise when everything around you burns. Rashida didn't just walk away from the flames, she built a throne in the ashes. And now, she reigns. What a wild ride, betrayal, secret babies, emotional breakdowns, sisterhood, healing, and a woman's powerful rebirth. Kirk Frost thought he could juggle lies and still keep his kingdom. But Rashida? She proved she was the kingdom all along. From heartache to headlines, from tears to triumph, Rashida showed the world exactly what resilience looks like when it wears lipstick and high heels. But now we want to know what you think. Should Rashida ever forgive Kirk? Was she right to unite with the other women and walk away on her terms? Could you forgive a betrayal this deep? And do you think Kirk will ever redeem himself? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We're watching. Don't forget to hit that like button if you believe Rashida deserves peace, happiness, and a crown made of her own tears turned into diamonds. Smash that subscribe button for more jaw-dropping celebrity drama, insider tea, and wild reality stories straight from the streets of Atlanta and beyond. And remember, in the game of lies and love, only the truth can set you free. Until next time, stay real, stay messy, and stay watching.